All right, so in the last video, we showed you how we extended the power and the capability of our chatbot by adding custom tools that allowed us to do additional things beyond just asking or answering questions. So our chatbot was able to take quote requests and then forward that contact information to our Google Sheets. And it was able to calculate an estimate, an estimated cost for solar panel installation, given the power requirements for our visitors. And so for both of those, we use custom tools and we use something called N8N, which is an automation platform, a lot like Make.com or Zapier, that allows us to connect our chatbot to different applications, whether it's Google Sheets or even using custom code. And so at the end of the last video, we really started to create something of like a API almost, especially with the calculator, because it was able to connect with our automation platform and then do the calculation and then send us the result back, send us that estimated cost based on the power requirements. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take it a little bit further and show you how you can not only create your own APIs, but you can also connect to other APIs and then use those inside of your chatbot. And so again, OpenAI, they have these in their system where you can, do various web searches and, they can actually look up information and then return that information to you. You can connect to external APIs, retrieve information, and then have the chatbot do something with that, whether it's processing it or giving you the answer or making some sort of analysis. So it's super helpful. So what we want to do is we actually want to know, based on where we are, how much power we can create or we can produce for that day based on the weather. Okay, and this is a very, very basic example. This isn't, this isn't like a very complex API example, but what I did was I actually went to a website called Rapid API. It'll be in the links, and I found a weather API that returns the weather for any given city. Okay, so you type in a city and you get back the weather, the local weather for that city. And based on how cloudy it was for that day, I basically was able to create an API that would give you back how much power the chatbot predicted that you would be able to produce for that day based on the cloud cover. So a very, very basic API. So let's go ahead and show you what that looks like. So I'm going to type in how much power can I produce today? And then it's going to ask me what my city is, what the actual city that I'm living in. And so I am going to say New York. And then my power output, my normal power output, is going to be 35 kilowatts. And it's going to go back and it's going to give me another fake output, because that rarely happens. So let's try that again. So we're going to say how much power can I produce today? And try this again. Okay, and so we're going to say New York, 35. Let's see if it works this time. Okay, so if we go back to our Flowise, and then we go to our N8N, what we want to do is, because this will happen a lot, where you'll type in a question and you'll need to figure out whether the chatbot is calling your function or whether or not there's something wrong. So let's go ahead and actually look up that function. And what we have is, it's right here. And so this is our automation basically. So when Flowise calls the tool makes a post requests to our N8N server, and then our N8N server executes our workflow. So let's go ahead and actually check out what is happening here. So we are going to go to the executions, and this is basically allows you to see whether or not your chatbot is actually using your tool. So it's actually a very valuable tool to have. So this is our code. This is where everything happens. And actually, actually, it looks like it was giving us the correct answer. So let's go ahead. I thought it was making things up, so I was wrong, you know. But let's go ahead, and we can see that the city was in fact New York. It was 35, and then our cloud cover was, looks like our cloud cover was probably 100. Okay, so the cloud cover was 100. So in this particular function, again, a very, very simple function, the result is equal to the daily power, the power requirements that we have, times our cloud cover, times 100, or divided by 100. And so if you have 100%, in this case, if you have it 100%, that means 100. And so if you have 100%, in this case, if you have it 100%, that means it's a clear day. If it's 0, it means it's very, very cloudy or rainy, probably. So in this case, it actually worked, right? So let's go ahead and go back, and let's try this again. And we are going to try somewhere else. We're going to say how much power can I produce today? I'm going to try that again. Okay, and so now we're going to do something a little bit, let's go somewhere else. Let's go to Tokyo. And then let's say, just for example purposes, 40 kilowatts. All right. And then based on what's happening in Tokyo, it's lots of power. All right. So let's go ahead and actually check that to make sure that it's actually right. So that's 32 kilowatts of power. Let's go back to our executions here, and this is the execution that just finished. It's just succeeded. So we're going to go here, and we're going to check out the code. And in this case, something happened, because in this case it was 40, and the cloud cover was 0. So in this case, what I found is that just within this particular code, when it's 0, it tends to make up numbers because the result is 0. So you just want to make sure that your functions are working and that the data is actually accurate. Otherwise, you might get strange results. So, like for example, I found that if it was 0 or it was null, then in my case anyway, my chatbot would tend to make things up. When there was like an actual number, an actual calculation, it would actually give me the actual calculation. So what you can do is you can also go to some of these API websites, and you can actually test it yourself as well. You can use other tools. For example, you can use things like Postman, or you can use Insomnia to actually do it directly, to query the API directly and see what the results are. This is an example of being able to work with the chatbot, and also being able to work with like different diagnostic programs to figure out exactly what is going on, so you can get more consistent results. So anyway, I hope this helps you, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.